Welcome to Monday Movie Madness on Superhero Brodowns with
Zach
and Cayden.
Today we're going to be doing a very interesting video for all of you guys, so make sure you watch till the end, make sure to go vote, and also make sure to go check out all the other videos. They're all really interesting, really great videos, so make sure to go check those out as well. So today we are going to be talking about what should happen in Spider-Man 3. Not the old Sam Raimi one. I'm talking about Spider-Man 3 in the Tom Holland series. So we will have 3 minutes, and we'll be looking up things being able to come up with ideas for our own pitches for Spider-Man 3. And at this point, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in Spider-Man 2. We don't know what's going to happen in Avengers 4. So all of this is all speculation and all just what we would want to happen and how we want Spider-Man to finish out his close. So, Cayden, do you want to start?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
Do you want to start the thing up?
Yep. Alright, so 3 minutes on the clock. Let's do this. Ready?
Yep, I am ready.
Okay. Go.
Alright guys, we are back, and that was not long enough. I don't think I have a full idea yet, but I have at least a little bit of a plan. I think Cayden has one too, I would assume. So, Cayden.
Yes.
Do you want to begin?
I guess I will. Okay, so how I think that, or where I think it should take place, when. Gosh, I'm bad with places and words and WH. When I think it should take place is, I think, his senior year. Graduation, Spider-Man, obviously, of high school. And I think one of the main villains that we haven't touched upon almost never, anywhere besides the comic books, is Cayden the Hunter. And so I think that should be the main villain. But I think that he shouldn't be just there, he should want Spider-Man, to be killed based on, bounty, you know? What he usually does is that he's going to hunt Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But I think that while I am all about comic book canon, I'm a huge fan of it, I think that some creative liberties can be taken in making him more technology-based as Spider-Man is.
Which kind of makes sense, especially with the new route they're going with Spider-Man and Vulture and all Shocker and stuff.
In fact, what I'd love to see is I would love to see him the normal at the beginning, like normal Cayden, but get beaten at the beginning. Because one thing that revolves around Cayden's character is he's humiliated by Spider-Man, fueling his anger even more. And so I think he should be normal at the beginning and get completely trumped by Spider-Man, but become technology-based, realizing that in order to catch this prey, he needs to get, more advanced with his captures. And he needs to use bait. That bait being, obviously other people in his life. His friend, I don't remember his name. What's his name? Ned. Using, people like Ned or, May. Aunt May. And, people like that. Maybe I'm not saying this has to be done the way I'm saying it, but maybe there could be a death somewhere.
Alright. So, I have a little bit of a different idea. So, this takes place... My idea of Spider-Man 3 takes place quite a few years after Spider-Man has been in high school. So, he's a little bit older, a little more experienced, and just a little more precise on his actions and whatnot. So, he's very clean-cut at this point. But what ends up happening is that he kind of gets a negative name with the media, and we could kind of pull a Civil War thing, that the media ends up not liking just stops liking Spider-Man. They think he's a danger because he messes up at something. And again, this will kind of mirror what happened in Civil War, except there won't be two characters. It will just be Spider-Man and his own internal
struggle.
Internal struggle and his own internal monologue. But so what I really want to happen is that there's this big spaceship, right? And it's going to go to the counter Earth, right? And this is exactly, I want to kind of take the idea from the TV show, I don't know if you guys remember it, Spider-Man Unlimited. And it was that show where Venom and Carnage are going up the side of a rocket ship that was going to go to the counter sun, and they ended up trying to go there, but then Spider-Man tries to stop them, and then he ends up, goes a different direction, and they go to the counter Earth. And when they go there, it's obviously like this not as good place. These kind of animal like people have taken over, but I don't want to do that because I think it'd be really cheesy to have these kind of CGI animal looking humanoid or whatever looking people. So what I really want to do, instead of doing like a full different thing, I think this would be the perfect opportunity to bring in the multiverse. Alright? Assuming, even if it's already brought in, this is another time to reuse it, or just to create it and actually discover it. And then not only would that help for this movie, that would help for so many movies down the road, that they would be able to set up every character ever with no problems with this. And it would give them so many opportunities to bring in characters and not have to worry about continuity errors. So he goes to this maybe different Earth, and this Earth could have some things different about it. And we don't even necessarily have to have the Avengers even be a thing there. In this world, there could be no such thing as the Avengers, and it could be a complete apocalyptic wasteland. But Spider-Man is now having to survive in this apocalyptic wasteland, and I think the setting of that is going to add some struggles to him, and it's going to add some of the most interesting character development we've seen with the character so far. The villain could honestly be anyone, and we could do the main villain from the TV show, who was he was a biologist. No, he wasn't a biologist, but he was a scientist, and he did stuff with genes and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily know if we should do him. Again, I think the characters from that show are a little bit ridiculous, and I think that won't exactly transfer to film. Instead, we could do Doc Ock, or we could do any villain, really, that we wanted to do in this universe that doesn't exist in the one already. So this would be a great opportunity to bring in these villains and not have to worry about anything, and just use this as an opportunity to build Spider-Man as a character, show off how good he has become at fighting, show off everything about him, and, give him just an opportunity to truly shine as a character. And maybe in this universe, he even has some connection to Ned from the other one, or, something along those lines. But then at the end of it, I really want to see just that question: should he go back to his Earth? He's hated there, and he has to decide if he wants to go back to his Earth and protect them, or stay in this world that needs just as much protecting. And what he does, I think.
I think that this premise is interesting, but I do think that there is sort of, you brought it up, the transition from animation to
yes,
real life. Another problem I would have with this is you're claiming that it's after all his high school years.
Yes.
Are we using the same Tom Holland just in an older light? Are they going to make him look older?
Well,
Are they going to obtain a different actor?
The good thing about Tom Holland is that he's actually, although he looks young, he is actually older than 15, obviously. So if they wanted to, they could just as easily make him look a little bit older with, less, if they wanted to have him grow out his hair a little bit longer, grow out maybe some stubble, something along those lines, if he could. And I think this would be the perfect opportunity to take him and also use because Tom Holland is a talented actor, and I think if we put him in a different situation, it would be so entertaining to see him use those comedical moments in a scenario such as this. And so I do think, yes, keep Tom Holland.
So one thing involving my story, also I'd like to bring up, wasn't the theory that the third movie is going to be called Home Sweet Home or something like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just a fan idea.
Well, if it is going to be that plays into one of my things.
It plays into mine too.
Well, it does.
It really does.
Also with mine, I feel like it also plays into it because Craven has destroyed his home. It has become he's basically taken all of the people that he knows and loves, and he's just toying with Spider-Man at this point to get into his head. He wants his prey more than anything. And if anything, it should become more of a petty a petty thing that he wants to humiliate him before he gets his final bounty. And with this, obviously Craven is a bounty hunter. He could be acting on his own free will, or this could be nice, great setup for one like larger story
with Norman Osborn, and like that'd be honestly that makes sense, and I understand.
So not only would this movie work as its own standalone movie, but it could also work as a segue into even better
better storylines though that have to deal with Spider-Man though, and I obviously though like Norman.
I mean,
Osborn,
you can connect Osborn to other people. That is a phone timer. You can connect Osborn to other people. Obviously, there's no concrete it's just him that's behind all of this. But I think obviously this movie, when it comes to the definition of Home Sweet Home, obviously having his home destroyed and him trying to find a new way to basically live now that someone's gone, or what home means to him now that things have been taken away and whatnot. I think that it works out perfectly for that.
All right. Do you want to do some closing statements?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right. So, while I think Cayden's idea is good, I think that there are certain things that it does not cover, and I think that it's setting up things for future Spider-Man movies. But if this was the last in the trilogy, I don't think that it necessarily is leaving Spider-Man off on a great note. I think instead we should transfer over and see him when he's older and see him a little bit different. And yes, I understand animation is a hard thing to transfer over, but so are comic books, and we've done that. So, and I definitely think that it makes sense, and I think there is too much of a parallel with Kraven the Hunter and Vulture a little bit, with how they're both trying to do their business, and I think we need to take something completely different, not even close to anything we've seen in Marvel. Do something new, do something fresh, and truly show off what Spider-Man can do.
Okay. My final statement is going to be, you can one of the points he made was that it shows off what Spider-Man can do. Obviously, every movie shows off what Spider-Man can do now. So, all the movies are about growth involving Spider-Man. The whole trilogy, every trilogy has been about this character's growth or how they've grown as a superhuman. But also, this movie that I'm talking about can be used as both, as I've said, a segue or its own standalone movie. And I feel like that's, it's an option that either one can go with. And when I speak of this, we see Spider-Man as this own, joking character, pretty happy, but what if we take it into, I know you've never seen it, but Kick-Ass 2, that movie, took it into where, when he lost his father, to the main villain, it kind of turned him, bad for a bit, until he, you can't break him into being a bad person. And maybe that's what Kraven's trying to do, make him lose himself so he'll be an easier target. But I think showing that Spider-Man is tough enough to deal with loss and able to avenge people and still be a strong hero is just as great a story point for an end movie to show off a person's skill as they've grown than anything else. To see this kid go through trials and tribulations to finally get, either revenge or protect himself and protect the people around him. So I think that's my closing statement.
Yeah, that was really good.
Right.
So guys, if you had one you liked more,
this was a very chill episode. There was less arguing. It was us talking about it, but this is still. Which one do you think was better?
And if you guys really do want to see us go into more depth about this, we really can if you guys want to. Make sure to comment down below, like this video, and that'll just let us know that we should
ring the bell as well. Even though you should already know, Mondays and Fridays, that's when we always upload.
So yeah, just make sure, I think if you guys really want to see what you guys, if you guys want to see us go further into depth with these, or maybe even come up with some more ideas. And
we need ideas, please.
So yeah, and make sure to just, like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. So
be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to all do those things. Alright, cool. I'll see you next, ninja.
Anyway, that's not how ninja sound. Anyway, we have now gotten back into our old schedule of Monday Movie Madness and Friday Night Fights. We'll see you next time, Nerd Folk.
Goodbye.